Welcome into the news portion of DSI. I'm Jordan Kudish, and we start with breaking news out of Berlin, where individuals are now being airlifted following an accident. Now, we just reached out to Maryland State Police, who confirmed for us that it happened along Route 611. 2 helicopters were requested at the scene, and right now police say information is limited and they weren't able to share with us any details about possible injuries. However, this is what we can tell you. They're asking people to avoid this area and that the accident is still under investigation. Now, switching gears here, a new CDC report is giving the thumbs up to the safety of Johnson & Johnson COVID-19 vaccine. The report found there were 17 cases of blood clotting conditions among people who received it, but overall the agency says only 3% of all reported reactions were serious. However, the report also noticed a few dozen anxiety-related events among thousands of vaccine recipients. They usually involved rapid heart rate and breathing, and sometimes even fainting. But the CDC says those reactions are not considered serious. And a reminder for all Marylanders, while you may no longer have to wear masks outdoors starting today, restrictions on outdoor dining will also be lifted. Saturday, standing service may resume outdoors at bars and restaurants for all capacity and distancing restrictions related to outdoor dining and are no more. The governor says restrictions for indoor dining will remain the same. Now, despite today's announcement, the governor is still urging people to go out and get vaccinated and, of course, remain safe. And in Virginia, vaccinated people will no longer have to wear masks outside. Governor Ralph Northam relaxed the restrictions. That's after the CDC updated their guidance just this week. Northam's office said mask use is still required indoors and outdoors at large crowded events like concerts, sporting events, and graduation ceremonies. And speaking of COVID-19 restrictions, if you're a Shorebirds fan, the season is right around the corner. But when you go back this year, it may not look the same as it was the last time you visited. 47 ABC's Jordy Clark took a tour of the updated stadium. Take a look.
We're running and gunning as fast as we can, but it's going to be a challenge.
Although fans are itching to get back in the Shorebirds Stadium, there's been a lot more work behind the scenes than anticipated. Last year, the stadium had little to no activity. Now this year, they say they're ready to welcome fans back, but things are going to look a lot different.
It's an insane amount of work that we're putting in to do something very simple that we've done for 25 years here that now takes a whole nother level of effort that is not normal.
Between spaced out seating, zip-tied seats, sanitized stations, and almost everything shifting to a digital platform, fans are going to experience a Shorebirds game in a whole new way. But Shorebirds General Manager Chris Bitter says even with all these changes, he and his team are excited to welcome fans back, even if that means having less than half their usual amount.
We can go to restaurants, we can eat indoors, we can do a lot of things. People are going to be able to walk the boardwalk, and we're the next step, I think, in getting that back to being normal.
Jordy Clark, 47, ABC.
The Shorebirds general manager says masks are still required, but if you're sitting down or eating, then you can remove it. He also hopes even with the many changes, fans can come and enjoy just a very small piece of normalcy. Now, tickets and parking passes will be sold online, and you can visit their website to check out all the changes made to the stadium. And don't forget that season opener is May 4th. And of course, to find more on this story, all you have to do is head over to our website. That's 47abc.com. Well, in Delaware, courts will remain under a judicial emergency order until at least June 2nd. This comes after the state's Chief Justice extended it earlier on Friday. This means all courts will continue to operate under a modified Phase 2 of reopening. Under this phase, the requirements for a speedy trial are delayed, and when the state moves into Phase 3, jury trials will resume and some pandemic-related restrictions will be relaxed. Today's order also allows court staff to prepare for jury trials again, like sending out jury summonses and calendar fixes. And a federal judge has ruled in favor of a southern Delaware town in a lawsuit filed by a woman whose son drowned after he jumped into a river while handcuffed in an attempt to escape police. 19-year-old Justin Johnson's mother claimed Seaford police failed to save him in July of 2014 because the city had not trained them in water rescue. Well, a judge said in a ruling this week that it didn't matter whether the city had an adequate water rescue policy because police have no constitutional duty to save someone who is not in custody from his own mistake. And after the tragic murder of Corporal Keith Heacook on Sunday, one nonprofit is starting a new program that they hope will help unify the community. Today, Operation We Care shared this post on Facebook, asking community members to come by Minuteman Press to pick up however many of these cards to hand out to officers. Each of the cards says, "We need you and we love you." Jeff Merritt, founder of Operation We Care, says the cards are free to anyone who wants to have some, and he's only asking that if you see an officer in the store or just standing nearby, that you hand it to them as a way to thank them for protecting the community and acknowledging the work they do, especially after the loss of a fellow officer.
And now's a tough time. Everybody in the law enforcement community is grieving. Our community is grieving. It hurts. It strikes a nerve, and it's going to hurt for a while. So again, if there was ever a time for unity, now's the time.
Barrett says this is not only in honor of Corporal Heacook, but every single officer who puts their life on the line to keep our community safe. He also adds that this isn't just an initiative for Delmarva. In fact, he's actually in the process of shipping some to Florida. And with that, we're going to toss things over to Ulysses Garcia for a look at your forecast.
Thanks, Jordan. And today, though, actually yesterday, because now it's officially Saturday, we dealt with those windy conditions, and it's actually still windy outside right now, so still be careful here if you're traveling throughout the overnight hours. Now, on our Morris Roofing and Siding Skycam in Rehoboth Beach, you can see some of those trees beginning to sway just a bit here as we deal with those gusty conditions. And here's some of the strongest wind gusts observed across Delmarva over the last couple of hours. Millsboro really topping out the list at 58 miles an hour, Lewis at 56, Bishop's Head at 53, Cambridge and Tangier Island at 51, Salisbury at 49 miles an hour. Weather watchers calling in, checking Lewis at 52, Ted and Millsboro at 57. And temperatures currently now entering into our Saturday here into those low to mid 50s, 51 in Dover, 54 in Cambridge, 54 in Wallops and Double Nichols in Georgetown. But like I mentioned before, though, the big story today and yesterday have been those winds. Those winds now coming in out of the northwest up to 31 miles an hour sustained in Easton, 25 in Cambridge, 23 miles an hour in Melfa. But those wind gusts still close to 50 miles an hour, 47 miles an hour in Cambridge, 44 in Easton, 44 miles an hour in Melfa. A little bit lighter as you make your way towards the east, but regardless though, we are going to have occasional periods with those wind gusts up to 50 miles an hour here throughout the overnight. As we get deeper into the overnight, we're still going to have the sustained winds up to 20, maybe even 25 miles an hour. Going into your Saturday morning here, this is when the winds will begin to gradually decrease. Still in the morning breezy, right around 20 miles an hour out of the northwest, but look what happens by the afternoon, down to about 10 to 15 miles an hour. Now, going into Sunday, though, it will actually change direction. We'll actually have a southwest wind kick in, and temperatures are actually going to begin to warm up. So we're actually going to see about our thermometer go up about a good dozen degrees from Saturday going into Sunday. So we still have that wind advisory in effect until 4 a.m. for the next 3.5 to 4 hours from now, as we can see those wind gusts up to 50 miles an hour. So especially for those SUVs, just really be careful while driving, especially you want to slow down, especially with that wind gust coming through. We did have some rain arrive a few hours ago with the cold front, and that really made our skies really dark here across the peninsula, but now we're enjoying those clear skies. Broadening out, the reason for all this is because of the fact that we have a low pressure just situated over the Canadian Maritimes and over parts of Maine, and that counterclockwise flow with that tight pressure gradient, that's creating all these windy conditions that we have been observing here over the last 12 hours. Here on Futurecast, though, we are just going to enjoy a good amount of sunshine throughout our Saturday. We may start seeing a couple clouds pass in as we head into your Sunday, but overall, not a deal breaker by any means. Going into Monday, however, it will become mostly cloudy, and then we do wait the arrival for some rain, especially as we go into your Monday afternoon and Monday evening. For the rest of tonight, 42 to 47 degrees, windy and with those winds still up to 50 miles an hour with those wind gusts. For your Saturday, starting off breezy, but then those winds begin to relax and temperatures will be down into those mid to upper 60s here. And for your marine forecast, so we're going to still have those blustery conditions in the morning, but the conditions improve. You still want to be careful out there when it comes to your boats. And then throughout the next 7 days here, 81 degrees on Sunday. Going into the work week, pretty much every other day, we deal with a chance of rain, so make sure to have the umbrella with you. Our warmest day will be on Tuesday at 85, but a good 20-degree drop, though, by Friday with a high of 64. And you are watching DSI. We'll have more after the break.
My name is Kwame Snell from Parkland High School, and you're watching Delmarva Sports Insider.